This is the Algebra Semester Exam Review for Unit 1, Topic 1, which is questions 1 through 9. When you take your exam, you will be given the following formula sheet, so remember that it is there for any remindings, any purposes that you need. So please make sure you understand everything on this formula sheet, as it will be useful throughout the exam. Question 1. Jack wants to put a fence around his property. He knows that the perimeter of the fence is given by the formula P equals 2L plus 2W. Solve this formula for W. Well, we're going to solve it. This is a literal equation. We're going to solve it just like we would any other equation, which is by trying to isolate W. So the first thing we need to get rid of is this 2L, since it's being added to 2W. So to get rid of a positive 2L, because the sign in front of 2L is positive, we're going to take away 2L. What we do on one side, we have to do on the other. So I can't combine P and L because they're not like terms. So I'm going to have P minus 2L equals, and this is going to cancel out, so it's going to equal 2W. Now I have 2 times W, so to get W by itself, I need to get rid of the times 2. The way to get rid of multiplication by 2 is to divide by 2. And what I do on one side, I do on the other. I have to divide this whole side by 2. Alright, so it's W equals P minus 2L divided by 2. Or we could divide it out and have P divided by 2 minus L. Or you could write 1/2 times P minus L. Or you could have 1/2 times the quantity P minus 2L. All of these are acceptable answers to solve for W. Question 2. Gino knows that the formula for converting degrees Celsius, C, to degrees Fahrenheit, F, is F equals 9/5 C plus 32. He also knows how to transform an equation into an equivalent equation. So which of the following is correctly solved for C? Well, if we have F equals 9/5 C plus 32, what we're going to do is we want to solve for C. We want to get this by itself, which means we need to get rid of 32 first. So for adding 32, to get rid of that, we're going to subtract 32. F and 32 are not like terms, so we're just going to have F minus 32 equals 9/5 C. Now to get rid of that 9/5, it's the same way as looking at it as 9C divided by 5. So to get rid of division by 5, the first thing we're going to do is multiply both sides by 5. But remember, we're multiplying this whole part here by 5. So I'm going to have 5 times F minus 32 equals 9C. To get rid of multiplication by 9, I'm going to then divide everything by 9. So if I distribute out my 5, I'm going to have 5F minus 160 all divided by 9 equals C. If you did this in one step and multiplied by 5/9, that's fine as well. But remember that you'd have to multiply 5/9 by F and by negative 32, and you should still get this answer. So our answer is going to be A. For items 3 through 5, solve each equation. Then select the appropriate choice from the 3 choices below the problem and fill in that blank space for that choice only. So number 3, we have 4x plus 2x plus 18 equals 5x plus x plus 18. Well, 4x plus 2x are like terms, and 5x plus x are like terms, so we can combine them. 4x plus 2x is 6x, and so we have 6x plus 18 equals, and 5x plus x is 6x, so we have 6x plus 18. So if you already notice that these are the same on each side, then you can go straight ahead to the bottom. Otherwise, I always like to deal with the variables first. 6x minus 6x is 0, so I'm going to be left with 18 equals 18. And this is a true statement. Therefore, my equation is always true. And my reason why is because when the variables cancel out, you get a true statement. And what we can see is that both sides are identical. For question number 4, we have 5 times the quantity x minus 2 equals 6x plus 20. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the distributive property and get 5x minus 10 equals 6x plus 20. I'm going to take away 6x on both sides, although you might have done this in a different way, that's fine. And I'm going to get negative x minus 10 equals 20. I'm going to add 10 to both sides because I want to get x by itself. And I'm going to move this up here. I'm going to be left with negative x equals 30. So to get x by itself, I'm going to divide by negative 1 and get x equals negative 30. This means there's one solution, and it is x equals negative 30. Finally, for question number 5, we have 9 times the quantity x minus 3 equals 9x plus 15. So I'm going to do the distributive property first, get 9 times x, or 9x, minus 27 equals 9x plus 15. Next, I'm going to deal with my variables. I'm going to take away 9x on both sides, and I'm going to be left with negative 27 equals 15. Which we know is not true, so this is a false statement. Therefore, my equation is never going to be true because when the variables cancel out, you get a false statement. Question 6. A food truck sells 3 items, hot dogs, sodas, and fries. In order to make a spreadsheet, the food truck owner needs to define some variables. So we have in this chart the defined variables, and what we're asked is to write an inequality for the following statement. The number of hot dogs sold in one day was at least 400. Well, we can see that capital H stands for the number of hot dogs sold in a day, so we're going to have capital H, and that was at least 400, which means that this had to be greater than or equal to 400 because H had to be larger or equal to 400. Part B, what does the inequality S times P sub S is greater than or equal to 1,000 mean? Well, S is number of sodas sold in a day, and we're multiplying that by P sub S, which is the price charged per soda. And this is going to be greater than or equal to 1,000. Well, if you think about this, I've got the number of sodas sold in a day, and this is going to be divided by the number of sodas. So those kind of cancel out. And what we're left with is the total amount of money that's earned for that day. So the total amount of money earned by selling sodas in a day was at least $1,000 because it could have been more or it could have been equal to 1,000. All right, part C. Write an expression for the total number of hot dogs, sodas, and orders of fries sold in a day. Well, we can see by our symbols up here, H is hot dogs sold in a day, S is sodas sold in a day, F is orders of fries sold in a day. So the total number of hot dogs, sodas, and orders of fries is H plus S plus F. Next, they want us to write an expression for the average number of sodas sold per customer in a day. Well, we know that S is the number of sodas sold in a day, and we know that C is the total number of customers. So if we took S divided by C, we'd get the total number of sodas sold divided by the total number of customers, which will give us the average number of sodas sold per customer in a day. All right, on a recent day, less than $2,000, so that's going to be important, was made selling hot dogs and fries. Write an inequality for this statement. Well, we know that H is the total number of hot dogs sold, but we know that P sub H is the price per hot dog. So if we have the total number of hot dogs times the price per hot dog, we'll get the total cost that we made, on selling hot dogs. We're going to add that with the same idea with fries. So the total number of orders of fries times the price per an order of fry. And this right here is going to give us our total amount of money made selling hot dogs and fries. We know that that's going to be less than $2,000. So there's our inequality. Finally, F. On another day, the food truck sold a total of 1,500 hot dogs, fries, and sodas. There were 700 hot dogs sold. So we know that we're selling a total of 1,500 hot dogs, fries, and sodas. So H plus F plus S is going to be equal to $1,500. We also know that there were 700 hot dogs sold. All right, so we know H is going to equal 700. Finally, we know that the number of sodas sold, S, is equal to 3 times the number of orders of fries. So the number of sodas is going to be equal to 3 times F. And they want us to determine how many orders of fries were sold. Well, if we have H plus F plus S equals 1,500, and we know H is 700, we can substitute that in. We don't know what F is, but we know that S can also be written as 3F. So that's going to equal 1,500. So 700 plus F plus 3F is 4F equals 1,500. Take away 700 on both sides. We're going to be left with 4F equals 800. Well, 4F equals 800. I'm going to divide both sides by 4, and I'm going to get F equals 200. So 200 orders of fries were sold. Question 7. Sherry solved the equation 1/5 of the quantity of x minus 20 equals 45. For each step, write the name of the property that Sherry used. Well, we start with our original equation, but what we can see is that next she multiplied 1/5 times x and 1/5 times negative 20 and simplified that. So she used the distributive property. Next, she took 1/5 x minus 4 equals 45 and added 4 to both sides. So she used the addition property of equality. Finally, she had 1/5 x equals 49, and she multiplied both sides by 5 to get 245 equals x. This was the multiplication property of equality. All right, and for question 8, Sherry has also been asked to create a two-step equation with solution x equals 10. For each step of her answer below, give the property that she used. So she started with x equals 10, and then she subtracted 3 from x, and clearly subtracted 3 from 10 to get 7. So she used the subtraction property of equality. Next, she took those sides and multiplied both sides by 5, meaning she used the multiplication property of equality. Finally, we can see that she distributed her 5 and multiplied it by x, and 5 times -3 to get -15, and it equaled 35, so she used the distributive property. And those are all of her properties. Question 9. On certain multiple choice tests, students earn points for correct answers, but lose points for wrong answers. The formula to calculate a student's score on a test is S equals 2C minus W over 4. S is the student's score, C is the number of correct answers, and W is the number of wrong answers. So using the formula S equals 2C minus W over 4, answer the following questions. So part A, Saul took the test and got 36 items correct. So that means C is 36, and he got 12 wrong. So W equals 12. What was his score? So we have S equals 2C minus W over 4. Well, S is going to equal 2 times 36 minus 12 divided by 4. 2 times 36 is 72. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And so S equals 72 minus 3, which is 69. So his score was 69. Francois took the test and got a score of 53. So Francois' score was 53. She got 29 items correct, so C equals 29. How many did she get wrong? So S equals 2C minus W over 4. Well, we know S is going to be 53, and we know 2 times C is going to be 2 times 29, and we're going to have minus W over 4. Well, 53 is going to equal 2 times 29, which is 58, minus W over 4. And to get the W by itself, we need to subtract 58 first. So 53 minus 58 is -5, equals negative W over 4. Finally, I can multiply both sides by -4, and what we'll get is W equals 20. So she got 20 questions wrong. Finally, for part C, Darko took the test and got a score of 80. So S equals 80. He got 8 answers wrong, so W equals 8. How many answers did he get correct? Well, S equals 2C minus W over 4 is our formula. S equals 80. We don't know what C is, so we're going to leave it at 2C, minus W, which is 8 over 4. So this is going to give us 80 equals 2C minus 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So to get C by itself, I'm going to add 2 to both sides and get 82 equals 2C. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and C is going to equal 41. So he got 41 questions correct. And this is the end of Unit 1, Topic 1 of the Algebra exam review.